think my first earliest hockey memory was when I was at Leicester Ladies Hockey Club. I think they arranged me to have a shootout with Sean Curley down at St Margaret's Pastures. So I think that's one of my first memories of kind of doing something a bit different, and really early memories of hockey. I must have only been 6 or 7 because I was still at Banana Bunch at that point.
When I had my first wooden stick, it was a Grey's wooden stick, and I was playing on what can only be really described as a beach. It was a sand base which was just covered in sand, and my mum and Sue Hutchings were coaching me, and yeah, that's why I remember it. It was like the biggest open pitch ever, so it was freezing cold, but yeah, loved it obviously because I'm still playing however many years later.
The first time I played hockey was on grass with wooden sticks, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. Like the vibrations up your hand when you hit the ball, and then it's progressively got better to where I am now.
I remember having to warm up, and the warm-up was to touch every single goal on the hockey pitch, which felt like a really long way at that age, and it was only around the pitch once, but it used to scare me, having to go back and doing that again.
My dad used to play, so growing up, used to go watch him with my brother. We got a lot of stick. I remember one time we had to stop the game because me and my brother were fighting on the sideline. So Dad had to tell the umpire to stop the game and come over and sort us out, to be honest. But
my mum and dad taking me down, I put a pound in the pot at the entry gate and then pick up a stick off their side. And it was just boys and girls mixed. I was 8 years old and I just loved it from the very first second I played it. Just so much fun. I went down every Sunday since.
I must have been about 4 or 5 years old. My dad managed to get some AstroTurf from the local hockey club, and we had patioed. We had a patio outside, so we AstroTurfed the patio. I just remember playing with my brother outside, basically all day, every day, whenever I could.
So I joined my local hockey club when I was pretty young. Both my older brothers played. So my first memory is not actually within the team, it was watching them and running up and down the sideline, getting people to pass me a ball with any of the substitutions and stuff like that, and that was the first time I fell in love with playing the sport hockey.
First hockey memory would be playing hockey with my brother in Cyprus when my dad played, and me and my brother would just go steal like his stick and like one of his teammates' stick and run on the pitch at half time, mum chasing us around.
So my first club was Cardiff Athletic. I joined, I think, when I was about 12 or 13 years old. It was very local to me at the time, and yeah, I just remember really enjoying being able to go to different parts of Cardiff on a Saturday, the routine of just playing lots of games and enjoying it, and playing with people of all different ages that were completely different, and just that hockeyness binding us all together.
I was 15 at the time. A bunch of my best mates were playing. They only had 10 players, and I got asked to pretty much stand on the left wing, hold the stick and just run up and down. So that was my first vivid memory of ever playing hockey or looking and seeing hockey.
So my first club was Exmouth Ladies, and I got introduced to that club because my PE teacher at school was a National League hockey player, and she would drive down every Wednesday night. So yeah, she introduced me to the club scene, would take me down on some Wednesdays. I was only 15 back then, so I was getting to play with all the big girls, and some of them were current internationals.
My mum's boss at work, he's a really good family friend, and he, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, and he just gave me my first stick, and I just knocked around the house, dribbled around the house, broke a few things, and from there mum took me to Marlow Hockey Club to kind of get me out of the house, I think.
My first hockey memories, I was around 13, 14. I actually started in goal at secondary school, and all I wanted to do was run around really, so I played in goal for a year at Sutton Valley School, and then eventually I joined Canterbury Hockey Club, where I've never looked back from really being a midfielder.
I was sort of 5 years old. My mum signed me up for a hockey camp that was sort of aimed at 8 to 13-year-olds, and she sort of managed to wangle it that I could get in as a 5-year-old, so I started sort of ahead of the curve and just sort of fell in love with the sport from that first moment.